As with most great things in life, we are left without the full video replay to relive those magical and memorable moments with those that may have missed out. However, there comes a time when you just can't help yourself but to try and retell a story and get it to come off just as good as it did in person. Luckily, we are left with a few photos, some great hot quotes from legends, and good old nostalgia. Today, I want to tell you a little story about my favorite NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour race from the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Well, back then, it was the New Hampshire International Speedway, but whatever. This is episode 1 of The Missing Tapes. On July 15th, 2006, the New England 100 for the men that live by the grace of God and 600 horsepower took place and kept my 10-year-old heart pumping so hard for 90 minutes that I fell asleep during the preceding NASCAR Busch Series race that followed up the Mod race and convinced my father that we should leave early, which was supposed to be the headliner race. But let's not forget NASCAR has to fudge the number of lead changes they have using passes during green flag pit stops, haha. Oh, and of course they had NBC televised that bore fest. Anyway, where was I? Oh, that's right, the Modifieds on the Magic Mile. Buckle up. So with a record crowd of around 44,000 in attendance, I was able to share this magical experience with them. A twist in this race was that NASCAR Cup Series stars, Tony Stewart and Carl Edwards, made their first ever starts with the series. Stewart drove a backup car for Kurt Chase Racing and was a teammate to now 6-time champion Doug Coby, who was then just 26 years old and already won the Stafford Springs Sizzler that year. Stewart's only prior experience in a modified was when he drove a backup SK modified for the late Ted Christopher in a special match race a few years before at the Thompson Speedway. Carl Edwards drove the backup car for Bob Cuneo and was a teammate with champion Todd Szegedy. Edwards once drove the Ralph Solom's Zero car during Speed Weeks at New Smyrna in February, and fans were wondering if he won, if it was possible to do a backflip as his signature celebration after winning a race. The 42 car field was led to the green flag by Zach Sylvester in the 15 car. Let the lead changes begin. The first lead change came on lap 7 when TC Ted Christopher in the Alley Installations number 36 drafted off Blewett in the Eddie Partridge 12 into turn 3 and snagged the lead. This was short-lived as Donnie Leah in the number 18 car took the lead away from Teddy and led for the next 9 laps before the first caution flew. Now that may sound kind of normal. Pole sitter leads a few laps and then someone takes the lead and it calms down. However, what you won't find on racingreference.com is how many actual lead changes took place during each lap of the race. It was noted that Fran Lawler, a legendary photographer in the New England auto racing scene, counted around 55 lead changes in the 100-lap race, and only 53 laps were under green. This stat is true because the drivers would exchange the lead multiple times per lap, thanks to the restrictor plates the Modifieds use, and the amazing drafting, driver skill, respect, and drag that the modified cars display with the exposed wheels. I'm not kidding. Tony Hirschman, Ted Christopher, and John Blewett III would exchange the lead a few times in each end of the racetrack, sometimes dive bombing on corner entry. After gaining so much speed from an amazing draft, they'd get on the long straightaways that they couldn't pass up the ability to jump out and pass. Sometimes they'd carry a little too much speed passing, and the guy losing the lead would be able to cross over and move underneath them and take the lead back just a few seconds after losing it. Now, if that didn't get your pulse pumping, Tony Stewart's march to the front should. Stewart started 21st, and after the first run of 14 laps, he was up to 9th. Now that's impressive. Even more impressive is that he made some 3-wide moves without contact. However, contact and aggression are always in the conversation when smoke is racing. Just wait until the final 20 laps. Unfortunately, Carl Edwards locked wheels with another driver and was out of the race around midway. I never caught this in person as I was so focused on watching the lead pack change positions. I only remember seeing Edwards limp the wrecked car back to the pits. 9 different drivers led laps during the race. This includes Jimmy Blewett, Jerry Marquis, James Civali, and Donnie Leah all led once. Tony Hirschman and Doug Coby led the race twice. John Blewett III and the Reggie Ruggiero led 6 times, and Ted Christopher led the most at 8 times. Oh man, that was a lot. Now with 5 laps to go, Christopher fell back to 7th. However, Jerry Marquis had the lead, and Stewart was willing to do whatever it took to win. I still play it back in my head now. Stewart was 3rd or 4th going into turn 1 a lap or so after the restart and just dive-bombed everyone to move up a few positions. And all I heard was the Cup-only fans in the grandstands around me cheering for him. I wanted Tony Hirschman to win, not Stewart. Anyway, Stewart got a run down the backstretch on leader Marquis, but they made contact and sent smoke hauling the mail into the road course section at approximately 165 miles per hour and somehow kept the car under control to finish an eventual 9th. Rookie driver James Savali took the lead from the reg with 2 laps to go, and they came to the white flag. John Blewett III made a move on Savali. However, the caution flag flew, and James Savali would capture his first ever NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour Race victory at the Daytona 500 for the Modifieds at New Hampshire. Champagne would fly, and the smile was ear to ear for car owner Don King and James Savali. What a magical moment the Magic Mile had for us fans. Now, from my eyes, the car that crossed the finish line first usually is the winner. However, that didn't happen. The magic was for the 66th car of John Blewett III. You see, the caution flag actually flew on the final lap as the 66 car took the lead. According to the rule book, when the caution flag is thrown on the final lap, the winner of the race goes by whoever is leading on videotape at the moment of caution. Gee, videotape, you say? Wish I could get a copy. NASCAR, I've emailed you in the past for this. Get back to me, please. I don't mind writing a blank check, but I digress. It took race officials around 45 minutes to declare a winner. However, that winner wasn't there to celebrate in victory lane. Heck, he wasn't even in the same state. John Blewett III had to catch a private flight to get back to his home racetrack of Wall Stadium in New Jersey as he races for the championship in the track's weekly Saturday night tour-type modified division as well. What a race. What a day. But that's not all. We still have to talk about Tony Stewart declaring war on the Modified Tour Brotherhood. When the race ended and the cars drove on to pit lane, Stewart stopped next to champion Jerry Marquis in the V4 Mystic Missile Modified, owned by Bob Garbarino. Stewart said, "Nice left turn into me, man. But don't worry, I'll remember that when we come back. I guarantee it. You drive like that. That's why you're still here and I'm where I am." The usually mild-mannered Marquis was steaming after the confrontation. "He got me loose a couple times coming off turn 2, Marquis said. "You don't do that coming off the turns here. We're too damn close to the wall. It's on a restart. Everybody is pushing too hard as it is. You're going to start pushing us around and wrecking our race cars? Tell him to stay in his own series and wreck his own race cars. He does a damn good job of that." Afterwards, Stewart told reports, "It was fun. You learn real quick. They start leaning on you, but they sure as hell don't like it when you lean back on them. It's amazing how guys will run into you and then get their feelings hurt when you run back into them. They sure complained a lot. It's like any other series. You go down and run at their level, and if you beat them, they get really upset about it, and other drivers don't like it. You had a guy that I used to have a lot of respect for, Jerry Marcus, who just drove me into the infield. To finish in the top 10 is pretty cool considering the ride I took down the backstretch. Quick shout out to Sean Corshin of Race Day CT for these great sound bits. At the time of this video, Stewart has yet to return to racing in any tour-type modified division. However, he mentioned multiple times that he was interested in racing again and appreciates all the drivers in the modified series. I hope after watching and listening to this video, you were able to paint a decent picture in your head of the most exciting 100-lap modified tour race I witnessed at New Hampshire. If only NASCAR would release full race replays of these races, us fans deserve it. Maybe I should just be happy with what my 10-year-old brain remembers from that cloudy July day, in case the actual footage wasn't as good as I remember it being. This way, I can always have a smile on my face no matter what. Thank you for watching. I am looking forward to doing a few more of these videos focusing on tour-type modified races I'll have witnessed with no recorded video coverage that I know of. Have a great day, everyone. So long from the Speedway.